Hi, it's Ed, and we're just about 6 weeks out from Election Day, which means it's time for our election preview series. Every week we'll take a look at the trends in our election for President and Congress. Thanks for watching, and make sure you tell your friends. In the coming weeks we'll take a closer look at key congressional races, but this week we want to focus on the state of play in the race for president, a job I can't for the life of me figure out why anyone would want. After jumping out to a fairly solid lead following the Democratic convention, Hillary Clinton finds herself questioning why she isn't up 50 points, as many polls have tightened to within the margin of error nationally and in key states. If you're a longtime watcher of presidential elections, you know that in recent years the races have come down to a relative handful of swing states, usually including Florida and Ohio. So far this year, we've got turmoil and competitiveness in more states than usual. We're watching 14 states where polls are fluid, including traditional Republican strongholds like Georgia and old Democrat reliables like Pennsylvania and Michigan. How long will all of these states remain competitive? I think there's an unusually long list of variables that'll dictate that. Let's face it, Hillary Clinton is an historically unpopular presidential candidate. 55% of voters view her unfavorably. Now that would be good news for Republicans, but 58% of voters view their nominee unfavorably. So polls are moving based on Trump's mouth and Hillary's head. It's not funny, but Trump's innuendo about her health was brought into stark relief when she seemed to collapse at a 9/11 memorial. Although I gotta admit, she looked really strong in that marathon debate Monday night. Trump's tendency to say the outrageous makes it difficult for his supporters to sometimes openly express enthusiasm for him. Does that mean there's a hidden Trump vote that's not reflected in polling? We don't know. Also, Democrat voter intensity is, by all measures, diminished for Clinton as opposed to the enthusiasm for Obama and Bernie Sanders. Will her supporters actually show up? Again, we don't know. Which leads us to Clinton's ground game and advertising efforts. She's outspending Trump by more than 6-1 on TV. She's opened nearly 3.5 as many field offices in swing states. In close election, these things matter a lot. She will have the organizational advantage on Election Day for sure. Now, how will third-party candidates impact things? Libertarian Gary Johnson is performing surprisingly well with millennials and seems to be siphoning off more votes from Clinton than from Trump, and that's unexpected. How will his support hold up? We don't know. Green Party candidate Jill Stein proved she can get arrested in this town and then slipped back into relative rounding error obscurity. Will there be an October surprise to move things? Nothing Trump says seems to change the support of his base, and he said it all. Clinton's deficiencies are well known, and if they haven't turned you off yet, it's tough to say what will. But terrorism and civil unrest do have a way of moving and motivating voters across the spectrum. So far, it's unclear how all of this turmoil will net out. And finally, the debates have started. I'm traveling this week, so we taped this on Tuesday, and it's not immediately clear how things will shake out following Monday's first debate. The editor of the Washington Free Beacon sums up my impression of the debate perfectly. This morning he tweeted, "After sleeping on it, it seems clear to me that Hillary won last night, and rather decisively. This means Trump will be up 4 points by Friday." In fact, despite conventional wisdom's nearly unanimous sentiment that Clinton buried the Donald, it's unclear how undecideds saw things. The debate was tough to watch. I soldiered through the grueling 90 minutes for you, dear member. You're welcome. Early measurements showed most viewers tuned in for the duration, though how focused they were, or how far into the drinking games or iPhone games they were, is unclear. Well, that benefits Trump, who did well at the beginning. Clinton dominated the second half, though, simply by staying poised or uninteresting, depending on your point of view, as Trump became increasingly agitated and seemed, well, low energy as the thing dragged on. So it was probably a draw, but Trump said enough potentially problematic things that we'll need to wait and see how the post-debate spin moves those who can be moved. At the end of the day, this, as all elections, will be all about turnout. In a seemingly innocuous but subversively insightful phrase, political scientist Larry Sabato says, "Every election is determined by the people who show up." Make sure your people show up. It's important to note, Election Day falls during NAED's Eastern Region Conference, We're committed to helping you vote early. Every communication we launch about the conference features early voting information. Also, we've launched our Get Out the Vote campaign. Every week prior to Election Day, we'll provide you with materials to help encourage your employees to register and to vote. Voter registration deadlines vary by state, but most state deadlines are 30 days out from the November 8th election. You can go to naed.org/GOTV to get information on our Get Out the Vote materials. Or just give me a call here at NAED's Universal Headquarters and we can help you get your folks motivated to get registered and to vote. You can't tell your people who to vote for, but you can make it easy for them to exercise their right to vote. They appreciate it. Finally, NAED has a PAC, and we're supporting candidates in this election. If you're interested in hearing more, give me a call. I'd love to talk to you about it. Look for another update next Friday and every Friday through Election Day. If you have questions you want us to address in the videos, let me know, and we'll hit on it in a future video. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for supporting NAED.